Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 188 of the I Rock Knits podcast. I didn't think this one was going to happen. And I'm in my Wisconsin sheep and wool sweatshirt and sweatpants today. I just got back from Portland at the Sacred Sheep Festival with my three friends last night. And all day. And the first thing this morning, I had to go to the dentist. Who does that? Who schedules a dentist appointment? Is everybody else in the country having trouble getting into the dentist if you have to change your appointments? My husband had to cancel for a business trip and he can't get in until February. And today I made my appointment for 6 months out and she said, well, you should come in May, but I can't get you in until June. So I got up and went to the dentist and then came home, and I have just been working all day to get my emails caught up, answer some people, get the laundry all done from being gone. But did we have an amazing trip? Oh my goodness, it was so much fun. I do not have a guest for you this week. I tried to reach out to someone and I haven't heard back from her yet, so I will just keep waiting. I know she was going to be busy through October, and so I have got another guest maybe lined up for next time. But this week you just get me, and I have some things to show, but I think it'll be kind of a short one because I'm not going to spend too much time going over all the things I bought and all the things I saw. But I do have quite a bit of video to put at the end. We visited 5 yarn stores, went to Portland Leather, went to Cannon Beach, and did Sacred Sheep Festival all day on Saturday. I traveled with my friends Renee and Bonnie and Matt, and boy, are they a good group to travel with. So easygoing. Everybody's like, it's good with me. Yep, everybody want to go. They all have to get coffee in the morning, and I have to get a Diet Coke at some point. And so we just trade off. Everybody's like, yep, I'm going for coffee now. Yep, we'll get Corey a Diet Coke later. Got to have that caffeine, right, to keep you kind of caffeinated for the day. It was a really wonderful trip. The weather was Pacific Northwesty, little drizzle every morning, but a little sun peeking through in the afternoons. We had really nice weather. We took rain jackets that we really didn't need. We took umbrellas that we never used. Even the day we went out to the beach, which was quite drizzly and very foggy, and windy, we walked out, so you'll see pictures of that too. We just had a wonderful time. They all knit my fully invested sweater, so let's start with talking about that. The pattern went live last Thursday. If you were a newsletter subscriber, you got the heads up on that, but this is the final last sample that I knit, and I got it done right before we left and got pictures taken. This is the cropped version with the narrower shoulder placket up here. So the pattern is written for the shoulder to come out a little further, especially for broader shouldered people, men, people who like that coverage a little bit further out. So there are lots of options for sample. In the test notes from people, I had 21 testers who knit 11 different sizes. So if you're interested in that, doesn't necessarily mean you knit a broad shouldered sweater because you're broad shouldered. You can knit, it's like more full coverage and less full coverage for this little section right here. So this can come in here a little further in, or it can stay out a little bit, and you'll see in the photos the difference of that. But this is the crop version. I wore it with a black denim dress for the photos, but this is my longest kind of white artist shirt. It hangs way down, and I could wear it with this too, with just some leggings or straight-legged pants or jeans. It's quite long. So yeah, I just put that on the mannequin today. I thought it would show up better with white than with a black underneath there. So yeah, it's out into the wild. I'm so excited. As a Patreon member, you got a discount. I sent that out to everyone. As a newsletter subscriber, you got a discount. So the pattern is written for 11 sizes, 2 different lengths, standard length and cropped length, and 2 different shoulder constructions, a little tiny bit narrower and a little bit wider, just depending on the coverage that you would like. So Lots and lots of information. It is 2 files. There are 2 completely different PDFs because we didn't want people to just hit print and print the pattern and be like, whoa, I don't need all these charts, because there is a different chart for a lot of the sizes for the shoulder shaping and the neck shaping. The neck shaping is a tiny bit lower on the narrow shouldered one and just up a little bit higher on the broader shoulder piece. I don't mean broader shoulders. So yeah, there's a lot. So we put a thing, do not print all of these, just pick the sizes you want and put them in 2 separate PDFs. So yeah, I'm really excited. That's off my plate. It was a busy, busy fall getting that one ready, on top of having a Dumplin bag come out every month. I am working on the December Dumplin bag right now. If you know my designs well, and you know that I've been doing designs matching older patterns, you might know that I have a holiday themed pattern that would make a really cute Christmas bag using mustache yarn. Hint, hint. This next bag will come out in 2 sizes, a regular size and a larger size. So if you haven't gotten the Dumplin bag devotee collection yet and you're still sitting on the fence, you might want to grab that. You get all 12 patterns for the year for $28. It's about $2 a pattern. And you get the extra patterns that are now going to be coming out in the larger sizes as well. So it really is going to be more than 12 patterns, because there will be multiple patterns in a couple of the upcoming ones. So yeah. What else am I going to talk about? Oh, we have knit night. So if you watch this right away, we have knit night. I think it's tomorrow night. It's tomorrow the 19th. Oh, my days. You know, we were on a time zone difference, 2-hour time zone difference, which was really hard on your body and your brain. And then you come home and you try to readjust. And we stayed in a really lovely Airbnb. It was perfect. We had just enough room for all of us to sit on the couch. There was a sectional. We stayed home one night and ordered pizza in. Well, we ordered in, but Matt and Bonnie went to pick it up. And then we just watched Netflix and we were just tired. We had been running for several days. We'd eaten out every meal, and we were just like, let's just stay home. So we all squinched in on the couch and knit together. But I have knit night tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that is just come on Zoom. The link is in the Patreon group. That is for Patreon members. But you can become a member tonight or tomorrow. For $2, $4, or $10. $10 members get all of my patterns for free, anything that I put out. But yeah, I'd like to see what you're knitting on, and I need to sit down and knit, because I have a new design coming out in January with Sam of Lavender Lune using her Flocculent base. And that's a cotton blend with kind of the mohair look. It's kind of a blown yarn, really soft, really airy. And I am doing a pullover design for her. And so I've got to get that finished up. I've started. I've got this much knit. The design is done. The pattern is written, kind of pretty much written. So I just got to get it done so I can do a call for testers. So I will be doing a call for testers as well. I haven't decided if it's going to be a yoked sweater or a raglan sweater. I am kind of a raglan designer. I do a lot of raglans, but I have done a couple of yokes. So I'm just trying to decide. That's why I'm stuck at the neck right here, because I have to figure out how I want to do my increases for what's happening on the yoke and the cuffs. So yeah, and then in December 18th, we're going to discuss the book Tilt by Emma Pattee. That is at Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. again. But the book is great, and it's short. It's like 6 hours on audio. It takes place one day. I've talked about it on the podcast. It really makes you think. It does take place in Oregon, which I think is really interesting. And there is an earthquake, and it is about how people have to get through a crisis like that. So it'd be very similar if someone was in a hurricane or a fire, or, in the community, what happens as people try to find their loved ones and get together. And it's fascinating. I really found it an intriguing read, something I'd never really thought about. I mean, we have tornadoes here in Minnesota that could really separate you from your family members for a period of time while you're trying to find everybody and figure out if everyone was okay. So yeah, I guess a little trigger warning on if you've been a part of something like that, you might not, but I just found it really intriguing and just wanted, I listened to it in like one sitting practically. Fun. So let me tell you just a little bit about our trip. We flew in on Thursday. We got to our Airbnb right away Thursday night. And we tried to find somewhere to go eat for supper. And we're just looking around. We found a restaurant called Borders. Right? Borders, was that what it was called, you guys? I think so. I'm a little tired. And we went and it was lovely. We had a corner high-backed leather booth. Lovely restaurant, amazing food, great drinks, Diet Coke, which is always, for me, great, better than Diet Pepsi on the menu, which so many restaurants have gone to Diet Pepsi. We all had halibut the first night. It was delicious. So what did we do the second night? We went back to the same restaurant. It was really just a few minutes from where we were staying, and we just didn't want to make another decision and maybe not have it turn out. And we hadn't really asked anybody during the day. We were staying in Gresham, in Portland. And so we went back to the same restaurant. I called during the day, got a reservation, asked for the same booth. It was lovely because we just sat and knit, and our waitress was the same gal, young gal, kind of got to know her. She has a little 3-year-old daughter. She'd just gotten back from Disneyland. Yeah, it just felt really good. Even the hostess was like, did you go to your event? And we're like, no, that's tomorrow. She said, well, you have to come back on Sunday and tell me how it went. They were fascinated by our knitting. So that was, yeah, it was really fun. We did go to Starlight Knitting Society on Friday. I purchased some Spincycle. There's lots of Spincycle out there. At these yarn stores because they're fairly local. And I got this plump, bulky weight from Spincycle. The color is called Levitate. I mean, could I have picked anything more perfect for my color palette? And then we went to hear Park and Knit and Jessie May on Saturday. Bonnie and I signed up to hear them speak. They have a new podcast out, so you can go over and watch them. They maybe have 6 episodes or so. They're Chicago-based young knitwear designers, and one Park has a gushy garter hat. And so I think, I'm not a big fan of garter stitch, but it was really cute made up in this. So now I'm thinking I even have a plan because she showed it in our class that we took, the talk that they did. So yeah, that was really fun. I got that at Starlight. Oh, and then we went to Portland Leather. And I got a handbag. I had kind of saved my money ahead of time knowing that I wanted to get a new purse. And they have a outlet center storefront where they have all the different, sizes and shapes and colors. And they were so helpful, so able to help us. So I got a lime green. I couldn't decide. It took me a long time to decide between lime green and raspberry. I went and grabbed it. This is my purse. Oh, that makes it look really big. Well, it's pretty big. It's, it's like this. I really wanted a purse with a shoulder strap as well as a front pocket. It has a interior pocket and a zipper here. And I'll just hold up a sheet of paper. So it's, 8.5 by 11, roughly. And it stands up really well, which is what I wanted. I wanted to be able to put just the few things I carry, my wallet. I have 2 of these little things that I keep my charger, my cords, my business cards in, and then my wallet. So plus a knitting project on top. Like I wanted there to be room so that I could always take a knitting project if I wanted. So yeah, that was really fun. I found this tag, this dragonfly that came, it was on another purse, a brown purse. And so I swapped it out and purchased that to put on there. So yeah, that's what we did. We had that was a lovely time. Then on Saturday, everyone wore their fully invested. So I'll put a picture in of Bonnie and Matt and Renee and I all wearing our fully invested. Renee wore my other sample. Hers wasn't quite done yet. I said, you know what, you should just wear the other sample. So she did, and it worked out great. They got stopped all the time. And you have to be very nice and dear friends to wear someone's design at an event when all three of them are introverts. And so I had a little card on my phone and I sent it to them, and then they could just have people take pictures of the information on their phone of what the pattern was, where to find it, to have a coupon code if they asked about it. And they said they had a good time. I love talking to people, and we weren't together the entire time because when I get stopped to talk, I talk too much, and then I just tell them, you keep walking. So people would keep coming up and saying, I've seen a lot of different people wearing that. And they'd be like, well, the yarn is for sale this weekend in the Farmer's Daughter booth. And then they had a sample, their gal that was checking people out had one on, and then they had another sample on Sunday. So we could send people right over to the booth to purchase yarn if that's what they wanted to do. I purchased this yarn from Hailey Bailey. Guess what color I bought? So someone who was sitting at our table in the tent got this out of her bag, and Renee said, you should show Cori that colorway. And so she did. And I'm like, I gotta go buy it. And they only had 4 skeins left. So I was like, I don't think I have anything in that kind of orangey dark with the browns and the rusts in it in my stash. I have a lot of orange, a lot of different colors of orange, but I just thought this was lovely. So I went and purchased this 4 skeins. It's made by Hailey Bailey in the Pacific Northwest. And I really do like to get local stuff when I'm shopping at a venue, you know, like that, where you're getting something made by someone local. So the other thing I got at the venue was a Deegan knit hat. They had these in a number of colorways. It is, I think it's wool, made in the USA. It doesn't say. It feels kind of like wool. Of course, I had to get the one that had orange. I saw a guy wearing an orange one with colored letters, and that's the one I wanted, and that's last year's model, so they didn't have orange ones. Then they had an embroiderer. So you could leave your hat or you could leave your bags, anything you were buying, you could leave. And she was embroidering in the moment. So she said it would take a couple of hours and I could come back and pick this up. And I said, great. So I had iRock Knits put on my hat just because I could. I could have put it across the back. I could have put Cori. I don't know. I do wear a baseball hat occasionally at the dog park when I go. So especially on days that I don't want to get up and do my hair and it's standing straight up in the morning. So I thought, yeah, I'll get a hat. I think Bonnie got a hat, and I think that's it. Just Bonnie and I think. And she didn't have hers embroidered. You could have gotten a tattoo while you were there too. And you could have done an interview for the Making podcast. I mean, there were so many things, like little things going on all around. They had a cookie vendor. The cookies were amazing. They were mostly oatmeal based, but then they had all different kinds of, stuff, cranberry, walnut, and chocolate chip. And oh my gosh. So Bonnie bought a big box of them and we ate on those. They had a coffee vendor. They had like an Asian, I don't think it was Thai. They had pizza. There were definitely options. They had alcohol truck, so you could get a drink of any sort. So yeah, that was kind of fun because I spent the rest of my time going from booth to booth. I did try on some woven overalls in a booth, but they weren't in my size, so I got her card. I also looked at some earrings from the, I took my earrings out earlier when I came home from the dentist. She crochets the little granny squares, tiny little granny squares, and then she beads different, and I took her card too, because she didn't have colorways that I would have worn most often, and you can order from her. So I'll do that down the line. But as we were walking by, we were in the Deegan booth, and the next booth over was called Garthnor. And I looked at it, and it was a mill and sheep farm. And it was all the beige, white, cream, gray, brown, you know, just not CORI'S palette. But I'm looking at that name and I'm like, is that something I should know? You know how some people name their companies a name that other people, like, is it a pop culture reference or whatever? So me being me, I think Matt or Bonnie was in the booth looking. I went over and I said, what does Garthnor stand for? I don't know what that is. And he said, oh, well, it's our farm in Wales. And I was like, you have a farm? And he said, yes, we started our own mill in Wales, and we flew over. And this is like the third or fourth time they've flown over this year. So if you're on Instagram, you can go and look up Garthnor and look up their mill, because they were the first mill to be decided that they were organic. So the organic wool, they got the, what do you call it? Authentication? I don't even know. It's on their website that they got that. And so then I was talking to them and I'm like, well, I would totally design with your yarn. And they were a young couple. And I just thought that maybe Garthnor was like a Greek god or some type of hero that I should know or something. No, and it was the name of their farm. And there have been people farming on that land for 2,000 years. It was fascinating to talk to them. I spent quite a bit of time in their booth. So this is what I ended up buying. This is really what a lot of their yarns look like, right? This is super soft. But they were milling this brand new yarn and getting it dyed. And so I bought CORI'S palette. I just bought 5 skeins. They were selling them for a bundle for $25, $5 each. So they're 10-gram minis. I don't know what I'll do with them. I might just put them in a little vase and remember my lovely time talking to, his name was Johnny, I think. Anyway, that's the fun part, right? When you get to kind of know the people behind, and they've just started this mill and they're milling their own stuff. Oh my gosh, that was really fun. So Garthnor, I'll have it down here. Yeah, so we ended up staying the whole day, and then we went home, and that was the night we were so tired. You're staying up 2 hours later than you normally stay up to try to get everything done during the day. We get along so well. Yeah, and they put up with my chattiness. Well, Bonnie's a talker too. But anyway, then the next morning we decided we needed to go to the coast, because on the way to the beach, we stopped at yarn stores. So the first one we went to was Weird Sisters. It came highly recommended from a couple of people. And I don't own any Plied Yarn. And they had Plied Yarn. And Ann Weaver does Plied Yarn. And she's a knitting designer, teacher, yarn dyer. And I have met her. I took a class from her, which I'm sure I talked about on the podcast about the pressed flowers shawl. She was giving tips and tricks. And so I just decided I need to get some of her yarn. So this is a green and white variegated. That it is not mint. It is lime in real life. It is definitely lime colored. These go together pretty well. So I bought 3 skeins, chartreuse and sauerkraut. And I think I will make some type of hat out of the Plied Yarn. I just felt like I really wanted to support, and I've never owned any of her yarn. So the nice thing about Weird Sisters is that it's a bookstore on one half and a yarn store on the other. And when we first walked in, I thought, oh, wow, this is really small. I won't buy anything. This will be good. I did. I bought the Plied Yarn, and then they had this branch that had ornaments hanging on it. And I did my white skinny Christmas tree last year that I bought because Kylie got married. We didn't have time to get a tree by the time we went, because she got married on the 8th of December. the trees were picked over. We just didn't want to decorate it. We were tired after the wedding. We were just like, so I ordered a tree online. I ordered a white, fake, skinny, tall tree, and I threw a few ornaments on it. And I bought a couple of ornaments off of Etsy, hand knit ornaments, pink and reds, and I just put a few red and pinks on it. And I thought, for the future, I will just collect some more hand knit, knitted themed red and pink things. And I bought a red bag, zip bag, to put over this tree. So we carried it to the basement. I mean, it weighs nothing. It's maybe this big around. It's real tall, but I carried this bag to the basement. We could carry it right back up again. And Renee said, I said, I would have bought that ornament, but it's the display one, and there aren't any more hanging on the tree. And Renee said, they're over here. So then I went over and I got this red ceramic ornament, which I think is just really pretty for my red and pink Christmas tree. And then I saw these little red stars. They're wool, little wool stars, felted stars that I can put on there. I got some red and pink felt balls last year after Christmas on sale. So that was kind of fun. And then we were at Target the first or second night getting water and pop, and we just had to pick up some stuff. You know, when you get into town, you're like, okay, let's take some. So we went to Target before we went to dinner, and I saw this card. And if you know my house, you know that I have these felted ball mats on my kitchen table, my dining room table, and then I have a wreath at my front door. And so I thought I should buy this card so I can hang this one on my tree. So I bought this card. It says Merry and Bright, but I thought it was really cute. So they have these at Target, so if you are looking for a Christmas card for friends, it's $10 because this is in there, but you know, it's thick. It's an actual felted ball little wreath. So that's the other thing I bought when we were at Weird Sisters. And then we headed to, we couldn't decide because someone told us to go to another yarn store where all the yarn was on cones, but we really wanted to go to the beach. So we ended up going out to Coastal Yarns in Cannon Beach. And it was about an hour and 40-minute drive. And Renee and Matt were our drivers, and we had like a van, which had plenty of room for our stuff in the back end and stuff. But it was drizzly and the roads were windy, and we went up through the mountains and then over to the other side. So it was a lot of driving, and we were knitting in the back seat. But we went, and as soon as we got into town, we found Coastal Yarns. And then there was a fabric store that carried buttons. And then we also ate at a brewery, and we did some shopping in some of the gift shops all the way along Cannon Beach. And it was pretty drizzly that day. But in Coastal Yarns, I wanted a local yarn, locally dyed yarn. So these are the skeins I found. This is the Coastal Yarn brand, and this is Ocean Mist, and it is a mohair. It is called Saltwater Taffy. And there was a candy store, and I wish I would have run over there because I do like saltwater taffy. I didn't need any in the moment. I wasn't hungry for, but. So this is just lace weight mohair with all the color in it. And then this is called Alder. And the gal who was working in the shop is the yarn dyer. And she names all of her bases after trees. And so there was a whole wall of color of these two dyers, these two different dyers that sell all their stuff in this shop. Nice store. So this is called Kaleidoscope. Yeah, that's a really pretty plump skein, very bright and colorful. So that I got that in Coastal Yarn. Oh, and this is the thing that I had them all in. This was being sold at Sacred Sheep, and they were these little. Everyone at the table, when I came back to the table in the afternoon, had these. They're these little kind of nylon bags that are knitting themed that you can put your stuff in, which worked great because all the yarn I bought fit in this one. And then here is the other one. I'll show you the company name. Gooble's Tools, and they were two gals. Gooble's. It's really hard to tell what that says. Sorry, but this is the other one I bought, and it has socks and yarn and little dogs. So I got one of this size and one of this size, and these were like $20, something like that, and everyone was buying them. They had tons of them, and then you could put all of your yarn in it. So at the event they were giving away yarn too, because some of the yarn companies were giving yarn away. So I got 5 skeins because no one was taking it. They were putting it out on the tables and people weren't taking it. So this is natural wool and this is merino wool, and this is the giveaway for this week. I thought, I'll take it. No one else is taking it. It's lovely. I think this would make a really fun hat, scarf, cowl. You know, you could do Christmas gift for somebody. Anyway, so this is being given away this week with, and then I went in because a friend of the podcast donated a bunch of project bags. So I went in and I just reached in the bag, and this is the one that came out. Isn't it cute? And I thought that these would fit in here like that. It's so cute. And then I found another tape measure because I got some of those donated to the podcast. And so I'm going to stick that in there. And that is going out this week to Patreon member Jerry Whalen. So congratulations, Jerry. You are getting 5 skeins of yarn, a project bag, and a tape measure this week. So send me your name and address. And then I drew for the Highland Cow bag, and that person that I drew is no longer a Patreon member. And so I redrew because I'm not out, because I do the giveaways for my Patreons. And so this is going to Donna Holt. So Donna, I'd already sealed this up, but it's the Highland Cow bag from Twice Sheared Sheep. I showed it on the podcast previously, but I can't give it to that person because when I went out and double checked, they were no longer a Patreon member. And so I want to make sure that I'm giving that out. I have so many Patreon members that I want you guys to win the prizes. So yeah, so that will be going out to you as soon as I get your address. All right, when we were at Weird Sisters, I also bought 1 skein of Blue Sky, and it is their juniper colorway, prairie. It's Surrey alpaca, because they had a sample, and when you see a sample, it makes you want to buy it. It was the prettiest little scarf. It was the prettiest little stitch pattern, and I decided I needed to make that for my mom for Christmas. It's a 1 skein wonder. I'll put a better picture in. This printed in black and white, so it's not really showing. It's just a little scarf, 1 skein. I'm going to wind this up and try to get it knit. I'll probably be knitting it on Christmas Eve, let's be honest. But Mom loves blue, and I thought it would look so pretty. Locally, I'm teaching at the Yarnery here coming up on December 6th. I'm teaching for Longmont Yarn Shop this Friday. So if you are interested in learning how to cable without a cable needle, I'm teaching on Zoom this Friday. So that would be an option for you to sign up for as well. And then I'm teaching again for them in December as well. I'm teaching all hands on deck colorwork knitting, as well as again for Yarn Fest at home. So yeah, you can look at my schedule. I'll have everything linked down below there in the little box. Since I drove to Nome, North Dakota and did my weekend up there, which was lovely, had a great time. I haven't talked to you since I got back. Oh, I met the best group of women. I need to say hi to all of them. We had the best time. It was a wonderful weekend with really nice ladies. We had good food, good company. I taught 3 classes. They were so fun to be around. We did trivia one night. I had little goodie bags for everyone. Little, of course, orange goodie bags with orange themed items in them. yeah, Teresa came all the way from Texas. She flew up and they picked her up in Fargo and brought her out to the Schoolhouse. So if you're looking for a weekend getaway that is quiet and kind of relaxing, and we got a tour of the mill. The yarn store was open most of the weekend for us to shop. You could, pick up things. There's a yarn store in the Schoolhouse. We just really had a lovely time. It was so good to get to know these people, and we've decided that we all want to, keep in touch. Michelle is local to me. I get to see her occasionally, but you know what? It's really nice when you spend a whole weekend with someone and you get to know them better than just like, I know she's in Bonnie's knit group and I know she's taken a class from me before, right? Like I could say, hi, Michelle, but I hadn't spent a lot of time with her. So yeah. And one of the gals was really local, 20 miles away. So she could tell us about the area. We just had the best time. 2 people came that were friends. They grew up in the same small town. We had a really, really nice time. I got to help some people with some projects that they were struggling with. And it was fun, really fun. So that might be something that you want to put on your schedule, because I think I'll teach there every year probably. Yeah, for sure. Okay, because I spend so much time on the road driving to Nome and back, and on the airplane going to Portland and back, I finished 4 books. So the first book that I did was Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli. And honestly, again, I am not a fantasy witch type of. This was so good. I immediately went out and bought and got the follow-up book, the sequel, and already finished it in Portland. I finished it on the way home on the plane. So let me just give you the heads up here. Enemies to Lovers doesn't get more high stakes than a witch and a witch hunter falling in love in best-selling author's latest romantic fantasy. On the night of Rune's life changed forever. Blood ran in the streets. Now in the aftermath of a devastating revolution, witches have been diminished from powerful rulers to outcasts. It's just a great story. It's fascinating. It's interesting. The background is great. The characters are well developed. I couldn't stop listening. Super enjoyed. And I am becoming a fantasy listener. Especially when they're this good. The first one was Heartless Hunter and the second one was The Rebel Witch. Highly recommend. Then I listened to Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green. This is becoming kind of a popular book. John Green is a fairly prolific and popular young adult novel. I've read a number of his books, but this one, in 2019, author John Green met Henry Ryder, a young tuberculosis patient at Laka Government Hospital in Sierra Leone. John became fast friends with Henry, a boy with spindly legs and a big goofy smile. In the years since that first visit, Green has become a vocal advocate for increased access to treatment and wider awareness of the healthcare inequities that allow this curable, preventable infectious disease to also be the deadliest, killing over 1 million people every year. So it is the story of how he met this little boy. He and his wife were visiting. They were doing some work over there. They went and visited this hospital, and then he found out all this information about tuberculosis that he felt like the world needed to know. The book is only 6 hours. I definitely was glad that I listened to it. Then I listened to I Who Have Never Known Men. And this is probably going to be the weirdest, most haunting, most memorable book of the year. After you finish listening to this, you can't stop thinking about it. But it is so weird. Okay, so deep underground, 39 women live imprisoned in a cage. Watched over by guards, the women have no memory of how they got there, no notion of time, and only a vague recollection of their lives before. As the burn of electric light merges day into night and numberless years pass, a young girl, the 40th prisoner, sits alone and outcast in the corner. Soon she will show herself to be the key to the others' escape and survival in the strange world that awaits them above ground. Haunting, heartbreaking, post-apocalyptic novel of female friendship and intimacy and the lengths people go to maintain their humanity in the face of devastation. Back in print for the first time since 1997. So this book was brought forward, and it's been on a lot of everyone should read lists. It is so fascinating. You don't know what's going on. They don't know what's going on. They just know that they're not allowed to do a lot of things and that there are guards, but that they're fed and they're kept alive. And it's so interesting, and you can't stop thinking about it afterwards. So I cannot decide how to rate it, because I would say it's a 5, but then I would also say it's a 2, because the first half you're so confused about, and I guess that's what you have to suspend your disbelief at the beginning, and I have a hard time doing that. So yeah, finished 4. 2 shorts and 2 longs. I've been watching lots of TV because I was knitting like the wind to get this thing done. So I watched a lot of TV. Caught up on a lot of podcasts. I did see that the grocery girls mentioned my vest, so thank you for those of you that reached out to me. A couple of you saw it in the Farmer's Daughter newsletter, because I used Farmer's Daughter Pishkin DK, and they sent it out, and you sent it to me, which is just really nice of people to just let me know that they're seeing my stuff in different places. While we were out there, we started the Netflix movie, The Beast Within Me. Oh, it's a thriller. We watched 2 episodes one night and 1 the second night. And Bonnie and I were covering our eyes and our ears at one point because it's psychological. Not something I would necessarily listen to, but now that I'm started, and I think there are like 7 episodes, I'm going to have to finish it. I just don't know that I can watch it all in one sitting. Then on the plane on the way home, I watched The Materialists, which was excellent. It's a movie with, what's her name? Dakota Johnson and Pedro Pascal, and anyway, it's a romance. She is a matchmaker in New York City. She works for a company that tries to find people dates, and she has broken up with a boyfriend a number of years ago. She meets this man. He's perfect. He's a 10 out of 10. He's doesn't want to be part of her matchmaker service. He wants to date her. They start dating, but she is still in love with the ex. It's really good. Materialists. I would highly recommend the movie. It was, feel good, gentle, nothing intense. Very good. Great for the plane ride home. So I'm almost finished with my Stripe Dream. I've showed it a number of times, so I'm not going to show it today, but I got the body done and half of the one sleeve. So as soon as I finish up that other sleeve, that will be done. So hopefully I'll show it on the next podcast in 2 weeks. I do have some time off here. I'm off this coming weekend. I teach Friday afternoon, but then I'm off the weekend, and then I'm off for Thanksgiving. I think my sister-in-law is coming up to the Twin Cities to see her nephew, so she's going to bring my mom. My dad said he just wants to stay home and watch sports all weekend, and they've done that before, where mom has come up and we've gone shopping. I don't know that we'll shop a whole lot, but we'll probably go see Christmas lights and things. So she'll be here. We don't do Thanksgiving until Friday with the kids, because they don't want to do 2 Thanksgivings on one day. They've done that, and it's not a lot of fun. So they're going to do Thursday with his family, and then last year they did Friday with us. And we don't make as big a meal because it's just the 4 of us. Then we don't get together with the whole crew. But then it'll just be the 5 of us, because mom will come and she'll be able to see her granddaughter. And yeah, so that'll be nice. And hopefully I'll just have lots of downtime here and knitting time. I was washing the bathroom rugs today and putting stuff away, and the suitcases are still at the top of the stairs, but they're empty. I got home on Monday night, and Renee and her partner John picked us up at the airport and dropped Matt off, and then we're heading to drop me off. And as we got across the city, I could tell that we could possibly make it by 7 o'clock to pick up Chevy from daycare. And he had been staying because Ross flew out on Sunday. So Ross dropped him on Saturday night to stay because he had to leave early Sunday morning to go to the airport, and I wasn't coming home till Monday night. So I said to John and Renee, is there any way you guys could stop and I could pick up Chevy so that he doesn't have to spend another night and I don't have to pay for another night? And they were like, sure. And we do go right by. It's just a few blocks off the main road and on our way. So, and they have 2 dogs who Renee wanted to get home too. So I knew that if I asked, they wouldn't say no because they're nice people, but you feel bad. So I ran in at 2 minutes to 7. I called them and said, I'm going to be picking up Chevy. I'm going to make it by 7 when you close. So I got to bring Chevy home last night, and Ross will be home on Thursday. So we were 2 ships passing in the night. So it's just Chevy and I tonight. I'm going to get this edited, uploaded. I have to make some supper. I did feed him before I started. I didn't think I'd get it recorded. I thought it might be tomorrow, but I thought it's fine if I record at night. It's a little dark in here, and I didn't change my clothes. I just stayed in my comfy clothes and thought, what the heck, right? Thank you for watching. I am so thankful that you are still here. Some of you have been watching since the very beginning, and that is just kindness overload. Come in for your hug. I've been given hugs since COVID because people need it, and I don't think that has stopped. People need hugs now with everything that's going on in the world. Stuff's crazy out there, so take care of yourself. Reach out if you need help. If you are feeling really overwhelmed and feeling depressed or sad or anxious, reach out to a friend, a family member, and just tell them, can you just know that I'm not in a good place? That's all you have to say. Then they can, they can lift you up a little bit. Yeah, we all need to kind of hang on to one another.
shops.